Show me.
I'm the martial arts film freak, and I watched The Prodigal Son.
One man fighting for his honor, another driven beyond his limits to succeed. Together they will forge an alliance which will create one of the greatest martial legacies the world has ever known.
The Prodigal Son was directed by Sammo Hung and stars Yuen, Biao, Sammo Hung himself, Frankie Chan, and a man named Ching Ying Lam. I have never known his name. I always just remembered him as the general from Eastern Condors, or Eastern Condor, which he is great in that. And he's great in this. This guy's awesome. I should watch more stuff with him in it. But The Prodigal Son was released in 1981 and is about Yuen Bao's character, who is this son of this rich guy. I want to say a lord or something, but probably not. Let's just throw that out there. I don't like that word. It's weird. But he's the son of this super rich guy, and he believes himself to be the king of kung fu where he lives. He can beat anybody. He is undefeated. But what it turns out is his father pays people to lose to him because he doesn't want any harm to come to his son. After Yuen Bao loses a fight to Ching Ying Lam, who is this actor traveling with a traveling opera company, the actor tells him the whole situation. Your father pays people to lose. He doesn't blah, 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 blah. And Yuen Bao is so distraught by this. He wants to be great at kung fu. He wants to be amazing. So he decides that he will take this actor as his teacher, which is sort of a fun little opposition to the idea of like a teacher takes somebody as their student. He just decides like, okay, you're my teacher now. But because it's a traveling opera company, he can't just stay home. He has to travel with this opera company, and he has to work for them while also trying to get this actor to teach him kung fu. And the story is essentially just that. He's trying to get this teacher who doesn't want to teach him to teach him. That sounded confusing. This movie is definitely much more on the comedy side of the martial arts spectrum. And unfortunately, I don't think it's really all that funny for the first half of the film. Eventually, something does happen towards the final 45, 50 minutes of the movie that sort of alters where the plot is moving. And that introduces Sammo Hung's character, and that is really when the comedy kicks in, because Sammo Hung is hilarious. Granted, I watched this on Amazon Prime, and you have to watch it on there with, and I say you have to, it's not I recommend it, you have to. It only comes with the English dub, in which Sammo Hung is voiced with an old British voice, and it made it even funnier. And not on like it was so bad it's funny, on like it's genuinely hilarious to me. I mean, it helps that Sammo is already being kind of funny because when you first meet him, he decides, I have mastered everything kung fu. I don't need to learn anymore. So instead, I'm going to better myself by practicing calligraphy. And so he's supposed to just start practicing calligraphy, and instead he's randomly doing flips all over the room, and that's already kind of funny. But then you add just this weird British voice, and for some reason it made it even funnier for me. There's moments where he's just super over the top, and like there's when Yuen Bao first meets Sammo Hung and his daughter like yells out, "Hey Dad, someone wants to hit me! Daddy, someone wants to hit me!" And Sammo dives through a window. And you just hear him yell, "I'm coming! Let her go!" I was watching this like in my car at work because my work was outside and it was freezing cold and I didn't want to sit outside. But I was watching this in my car and I just started laughing so hard at Sammo Hung yelling that. It was just hilarious to me. There are just numerous other situations throughout, I'd say, the next 20-25 minutes that I just thought were amazing. Not because the action was cool, but because Sammo and the voice was just so damn funny. I will say, in regards to why the film's plot sort of flips and we get introduced to this Sammo Hung part of the film, I didn't understand why things happened that did. I won't say, even this movie came out in 1981. I guess I don't want to spoil it. I was confused. I was like, why is this happening? Why did it gets dark? Is what there's a darkness that overtakes the film right in the middle. So it's like a lighthearted comedy, and then just a huge cloud of darkness, and then more comedy. The cloud of darkness, I didn't understand what was happening until the very end, and I just feel like it's not that it created a sense of mystery, because a sense of mystery would have been nice. It's just confusion. It's there's no room for my brain to ask why, and I had no reason to ask why I didn't feel. It's just something dark happened, and that was it. And that part I didn't like. Everything around that was great, though. Now the action. You have 2, maybe even 3, maybe even 4 of some of the best of Golden Harvest in Hong Kong at the time. You have Yuen Biao, Sammo Hung, of course, and then you have this guy whose name I'm never remembering, even though it's super easy, Ching Lam, and then Frankie Chan, and then a couple other guys who are pretty good too. But their fight scenes are all incredible. There's not really something great for the first bit, because the idea of Yuen Biao thinks he's amazing, so you expect this epic fight scene, but it's not epic because it turns out Yuen Biao is crap. He's being protected by his father, so he just keeps losing, or he wins easily until he just loses easily. So those fights aren't really anything special. The first really good fight scene, I think, comes in this restaurant scene between Ching Lam and Frankie Chan, and then later on is essentially just all training sequences between Yuen Biao and Ching Lam and Sammo Hung. The two others are teaching Yuen Biao. And those are all really cool. There's sort of different lessons that they each teach. Ching Lam is much more teaching him Wing Chun. It's just Wing Chun. That's all he's teaching. And Sammo Hung telling him, hey, that's fine. Stick to your style, but understand when a street fight is necessary for you to branch out. And you have to take advantage of situations, even if it means disregarding your style. Take advantage of a situation if it means you get to live. And the way he incorporates that into the final fight, which is an amazing fight, is really nice to see. But the final fight is just this hard-hitting, fast-paced, sort of visceral battle between Frankie Chan and Yuen Biao, and they're just going at it. And it is sort of a slower style. I think that there is a certain shift in fight choreography in Hong Kong, of course with the introduction of Golden Harvest, but early Jackie Chan movies and even early Sammo and Yuen movies, you still get almost a derivative of Shaw Brothers style. There's this slower, much more, I coordinated is a weird word, but just the choppiness of it, and choppy feels mean, but that's kind of the only way I feel I can describe it. But it's very derivative of the Shaw Brothers style, and that's what all three of those guys did up until, I'd say, probably 1983, 1984. 1983, 1984, I'd say, is when the Three Dragons came together, and you especially get movies like Police Story and Project A, that things get intense, things get fast, and things get, I guess, they don't look as planned, even though they're obviously probably far more planned. They don't look it. But so the Prodigal Son stuff, it doesn't follow the same trend as something like a Righting Wrongs, or an Eastern Condor, or Police Story, or Project A, any of those. It doesn't look like any of that. It follows much more of a style of Shaw Brothers fight choreography. But because of who was doing it, and who was directing it, and who was choreographing it, Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao, Jackie Chan, what is his name? I forget, Frankie Chan. What did I do that for? It looks really nice. It's really well done, and I loved it a lot. I loved that the character motivations really took over this scene, and Yuen is such a more evolved character than he was at the beginning, and it's really satisfying to see him by the end of the film. Anyway, so with that long-winded description, I'm kind of tired. With that long-winded description of fight choreography that I probably went really oddly into depth with, but also way off topic with at the same time, I think I'm going to give this movie about, what should I give it? 4 virgin chickens out of 5.
Oh, not bad. You look like a virgin, too.
this movie was weird. I like this a lot, and I surprised a lot of people posting this on like Reddit and Instagram saying like, this is my first time watching this. Because to some people this is like probably stuff they really grew up with. But this stuff didn't really come my way much when I was little, or at all. This is my first time seeing this, and I liked it a lot. I understand why. I guess it gets the acclaim that it does. I would like to see, I think it's called Knockabout. That is the other Sammo and Yuen one, the one that starts with this training sequence. That looks insane, and I want to watch it. But I like this one. What do you think? What did you think of Prodigal Son? What is your favorite Yuen Biao and Sammo Hung movie? Because I'm still heavily leaning towards Eastern Condor. I love Eastern Condor a lot. It's better, I think, than Millionaire's Express. I like Millionaire's Express a lot, though. But God, Eastern Condors is great. What do you think? What is your favorite? What did you think of this movie? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Head over to martialjournal.com for movie reviews, book reviews, TV reviews, articles on all things martial arts. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good day.